One thing we know is that Spencer Pratt is not giving up. Now, I showed y'all a video of President Trump had invited Spencer Pratt to the White House, and we don't know what they talked about. Now, a lot of people saying that, hey, did Spencer Pratt pretty much tell President Trump what was going on in California? Because remember, Spencer Pratt said he got evidence of the cheating. And by the way, Spencer Pratt just dropped a bombshell video on California. Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, Nithya Raymond, they are all losing their freaking mind. We about to get into all of it. I'm gonna show y'all exactly what Spencer Pratt just did. President Trump going off on Gavin Newsom right now, because obviously y'all been seeing Gavin Newsom running around trying to blame President Trump, saying that Donald Trump is attacking him and his wife. It's a political move, but yet he ain't telling the truth that, you know, the investigation started under Joe Biden and from a whistleblower who went after Gavin Newsom and his wife, but yet he running around blaming it on Trump. So I'm going to show y'all everything that is going on right now. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the ones that always let me know in the comment section that you did stay until the very end of the video. It definitely helps me out a ton. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Now, before we get into what President Trump said about Gavin Newsom, Dr. Trump is back, and he got more patients that got Trump derangement syndrome. So I got to show y'all this, and then we're going to dive into it.
And I'm back. Today's patients are suffering from chronic government dependency and an allergic reaction to capitalism. Fortunately, it's treatable.
Looking back, the signs were obvious. Every time someone succeeded, I thought they should be taxed more.
I ignored the symptoms for years. Then I realized I thought every problem could be fixed by making somebody else pay for it.
I've got to be honest. This one's going to be a challenge. The symptoms are severe, but I'm not ready to give up. Miracles happen every day.
I just kept repeating what everyone else was saying. After a while, I forgot to think for myself. I don't know how it happened. One day I started believing free stuff was actually free.
Wait, I just heard there was free booze here. What are we talking about again? Whatever, just give me the booze.
Don't worry, I've treated tougher cases than this. Here's your prescription. Hug an American flag for 10 minutes every morning. Read one page of the Constitution before bed. Then spend 1 hour talking to a small business owner every single day. Do that for 30 days, and I think you're going to feel a whole lot better.
See, President Trump is just making them mad with this because they all got Trump derangement syndrome. He probably going to be doing this every week where he got new patients. I showed y'all the patients from last week, so I definitely had to show y'all this. And once, you know, it got Gavin Newsom in there because, like I said, a man been going on a rampage just crying about President Trump. And another thing President Trump posted where he said, President Trump clowns on Gavin Newsom for admitting during an interview that he can't read. Good luck with that presidential run, Newsom. And this is what President Trump said, where he said, Gavin Newsom, a recent career-threatening interview where he said he can't read a speech. He was a stupid person, but smarter than people in the room, racist, has mental incapacity, difficulty, and various other elements. May be the worst interview given by a professional politician in 100 years. No politician has ever made such statements and survived. Newsom is in big trouble when he openly admits that Kamala is smarter than he is. And let's listen to this.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech.
Telling a room full of black people, I'm like you. The pandering, the lying. This is what President Trump is talking about. Gavin Newsom is just dumb.
But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
He can't read.
Maybe the wrong business to be in. I'm not.
Wow. Saying that he can't read and stuff like that. Pretty much saying, hey, just like y'all like that, I can't read. I can't do this. And that's what a lot of people was talking about. I think we covered this a while back when he had did this right here. And President Trump brought it back up and just go to show you. And you definitely something wrong with you if you say that Kamala Harris is smarter than you. You definitely got something going on. But then we get to right here, we got Gavin Newsom just started panicking, and we gonna get to Spencer Pratt. All this gonna lead up to what Spencer Pratt just did. And the reason why Gavin Newsom is panicking about him and his wife, pretty much under federal investigation. So let's check out this clip right here.
Consistently. And so I was clear in that statement why I did what I did, and that was the abuse was overwhelming. Poor and innocent people getting knocks on the door first thing in the morning, having to hire private attorneys.
Now, what he's talking about now, that he's saying that President Trump sent the FBI to his front door, to his family front door, and to his friend's front door. And that's why you can see now he just been crying. And like I said, tell the truth, Newsom. Tell the truth that this investigation started under Joe Biden. That's what he keep lying about. I still haven't heard him admit that. He just want to keep on saying President Trump did it because he want people to feel sorry for him.
Lives and reputation at risk for no other reason than want to take me out. Going after my wife.
Look at that. Here you go.
Doesn't have the gut. He tried. He reported that.
Investigations into you, your wife, yourself.
Not much more than has already been provided. I mean, this is purely political. You've seen some of the reporting. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have reported it as well. People have stated pretty clearly they were directed to find something.
Have more people been contacted in your circle?
To find something. Just directed. Find something. It says everything you need to know about the United States of America under Donald Trump. And so we continue to, maintain vigilance as it relates to the just weaponization by the Department of Justice and other power ministries under the Trump administration. And a lot has been reported, and I don't have much more to add except
blaming Trump.
It's pretty disgraceful.
This is what he's doing.
And it's pretty obvious that I'm not timid as it relates to calling out the abuses of the most corrupt administration in American history. What more evidence did you need than the tax returns that he just put out, the $2.2 billion in income that Donald Trump has received, the fact that investors in his meme coin lost $3.8 billion.
See, that's the thing right here. You can see it just, Trump did this, Trump going after my wife, Trump did this, just telling lies. And what I don't like about a lot of these reporters, why they ain't asking him, why they ain't saying Gavin or Governor Newsom, why you keep saying Trump is coming after you and your wife when this investigation started under Joe Biden and from a whistleblower? Why they ain't saying that? Because I would love to hear what he had to say about that, but I've noticed something. Nobody has asked him that. Is his team pretty much telling reporters not to ask him that? Because it started under Joe Biden. It started by a whistleblower, I think in Sacramento, California. But he keep trying to say Donald Trump is coming after him. Oh, he won't leave my wife alone, or this and that. See, and that's right there is what I don't like. And then we get to this right here's another reason why he's panicking. Now, a woman says she called out Gavin Newsom and his wife for the obvious taxpayer-funded diaper scam before he even left the podium.
40 million diapers, as many diapers will be distributed this year as Californians.
That was Governor Gavin Newsom about 2 months ago at a press conference announcing California's new free diaper program and a multi-million-dollar contract with the nonprofit Baby to Baby. But immediately critics pointed out that his wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, also had a relationship with at least one of the co-CEOs.
Sits on Jen's board of directors. Gavin Newsom is claiming there was this huge, rigorous process to figure out which group to partner with for this free diaper program. But was it really a rigorous process if you're best friends with the CEO of this company?
So we did a little fact check, and you should definitely go check out the story we did last month. But we can only go so far.
So far, the state will not give us a copy of the contract or the competitive bid scoring.
Why not?
4 days after that very high-profile press conference, we simply asked the governor's office for a copy of that contract that everyone was talking about. They told us, reach out to California Health and Human Services. They told us the contracts were with yet another agency. That agency told us our requests had been received. That means legally, they had a maximum of 10 days to tell us whether or not we're going to get them. Exactly 10 days later, now 14 days after the press conference, the state replies citing an unusual circumstance clause in the California Public Records Act, giving them another 14 days to decide if these are disclosable records. California law clearly states any executed contract is a public record, and so are competitive bid scoring sheets. Fast forward 14 more days. Spoiler alert, they are disclosable records, but the state would need another 3 to 4 weeks to get us copies. Translation, the state waited 24 days to promptly notify us that it would need another 28 days to get a copy of that contract.
That's crazy.
The governor announced nearly 2 months ago.
A competitive bidding process.
Then, the day we were finally supposed to get the records, July 3rd, a state holiday, the Newsom administration told us they would need 2 more weeks.
You see what they're doing? Keep on stretching it out. This is going to show you there's always some fraud and scam stuff going on in California. This is the reason why they cheated Spencer Pratt, because they knew he was going to expose something. He still is. But this is the stuff that's going on in California.
It's unacceptable.
That's Jenny LaRue. She's with the First Amendment Coalition.
You should have had it in your hands the day they were talking about it.
She argues documents like state contracts shouldn't even require a public records request. Do you think there's a world where state agencies just automatically upload all contracts?
I think there's a world where we make them do that.
That's State Senator Tom Umberg. He knows a bit about this issue.
Thank you, Assemblymember Pacheco, for bringing lots and lots of attention to this subject.
The Senate Judiciary Chair was instrumental in gutting a bill that would have let state agencies charge you hourly fees and even sue someone for requesting public information.
People shouldn't have to pay to get information from public officials.
Now, the amended version of the bill does give agencies even more time to respond to your public records request. Assemblywoman Pacheco argues they need it.
Agencies across the state are experiencing a sharp increase in requests that are exceptionally broad.
Meanwhile, we're still waiting for that baby-to-baby contract. Now,
still ain't got it.
And here we are.
For CBS California Investigates.
Look at us. Still ain't got it. Every time it got closer to the day, they extended another 14 days, then another 28 days, then another 20 days. This is crazy. This is what's going on in California. This is what, and that's why you seen like, you know, some of the people coming out saying that they was coming out, 3 to 4 times a week, paying homeless people and stuff. We seen them expose them. And then now, this is what I want to ask everybody. Now it makes sense why Gavin Newsom is so desperate to be anywhere but California. It say that, let me ask y'all this, because this is what they finna say. Is California the worst state to move at in 2026? I would love to hear what y'all have to say about that. Is California the worst state to move at in 2026? Let me know down below in the comment section.
Remains one of the worst states to move to for the year 2026. A new Consumer Affairs report ranks the Golden State as the 3rd worst state to move to. This is the 3rd year in a row California was in the top 3. New Mexico, Louisiana, they topped the list. Now, they determine the rankings based on affordability, safety, education, healthcare, and quality of life. California was dead last in affordability and second to last in safety. The best states to move to, New Hampshire and Utah.
You see that? But then you got Karen Bass who wants to win. And like I said, it still just upset me about what they did to Spencer Pratt. Because they pretty much got election month in California. It ain't even election day. Especially when ballots can be counted weeks and months after the election day, which is crazy. I'm still mad at the Supreme Court for allowing it to keep on happening. And that what made a lot of us upset. So let's get to this right here, because this is what I told y'all the other day when he said it's happening, that Spencer Pratt had visited President Trump at the White House. And after that, Pratt had posted pretty much saying, I would never stop fighting for my community. Him and Trump are up to something. Big things are happening behind the scenes. And then y'all can see it right here. Spencer Pratt posted it. You can see Spencer Pratt right here. President Trump talking to him. We don't know what they could have been talking about. Y'all let me know, what do y'all think they were talking about? I know I seen Benny Johnson say that Gavin did Spencer Pratt give President Trump any info on the fraud that was going on in California? Did he show him the evidence? We don't know yet. Ain't nothing came out yet about it. They say even Elon Musk just came out in support of Spencer Pratt's crusade against California election cheating, saying California has legalized election fraud, exposed it all. Pratt said this is what California had done with the election: unsolicited ballots going into open mailboxes and NGOs and parking lots. Bank vault is wide open, no signature required, no ID required, no way to ID the robbers. All the fraud that does occur happens long before the ballots even hit the building. So even when you got Elon Musk that's coming out and now he's supporting Spencer Pratt, he's behind Spencer Pratt right now. So let's get to this right here. Say, holy crap, Spencer Pratt just dropped this banger on communist election fraud, declaring open war and saying he has evidence of voter fraud. And he dropped a 9-minute video. Wow.
In judicial ethics, the mere appearance of potential fraud is disqualifying. Same goes here. Whether or not there is widespread fraud occurring, there certainly could be, and it doesn't matter how many times you scream, there's no widespread fraud. A lot of people believe there is, and there's no way to actually validate it. This isn't just about whether or not fraud is swinging the election. The appearance of fraud already is swinging the election. People rightly have zero faith in this janky, inefficient system. They feel like their vote isn't being counted. They feel like illegal ballots are being cast, and they're not wrong to worry about it. There's literally no safeguards in place to prevent that from happening, and way too many openings for it to occur on a massive scale. You all saw how I was neck and neck with Karen Basura on election night, nearly double digits ahead of Nithya, just as the polling predicted.
Rahman fighting tears on election night, trailing Spencer Pratt by roughly 40,000 votes and about 10 percentage points.
I dominated the in-person vote. I smashed Nithya on the mail-in ballots too. She was crying on election night. It was over. Then a few days later, suddenly Nithya started overperforming.
Remember we was talking about that? On election night, this woman was crying. She pretty much conceded. She was done. And then 3-4 days later, all of a sudden, it just started rising. And then Spencer Pratt just started falling, which they was doing the same thing to Steve Hilton until President Trump said something about it. So we know for a fact something happened. It's like you telling me all these mail-in ballots is just coming in for her. Nobody even know this woman. This is the same woman who said she don't mind homeless people pretty much staying outside of schools, being close to your kids' schools and stuff like that. Who will vote for that?
Rahman fighting tears on election night, trailing Spencer Pratt by roughly 40,000 votes and about 10 percentage points.
I dominated the in-person vote. I smashed Nithya on the mail-in ballots too. She was crying on election night. It was over. Then a few days later, suddenly Nithya started overperforming as they continued to accept ballots 7 days after the election.
But days of county mail-in ballots have changed the map.
I'm so grateful.
Rahman has now erased a 40,000 vote deficit and moved ahead of Pratt by roughly 3,000 votes, a net swing of more than 43,000 votes.
43,000 votes, which just happens to be the exact number of homeless people on the streets in LA. They assured everyone that this is normal because for some reason that they can't explain, Democrats overwhelmingly vote by mail.
There's a historical phenomenon in national voting called the Red Mirage.
The Red Mirage.
What we were calling the Red Mirage.
The Red Mirage.
Red Mirage. Yeah. This term was coined because some swing states count votes, usually favoring Republicans early. Then it becomes an advantage for Democrats later in the evening and then into the next morning.
You expect to see the Republican with a lead, but it's not really a lead.
Democrats vote in higher numbers by a mail-in ballot. Historically, Democrats vote in higher numbers by mail-in ballots.
But not all Democrats, just the ones who were voting for the third place candidate, the one candidate who really needed the votes. Don't forget, there were 2 Democrats in the race, but for some reason, only the third place Democrat who needed the votes saw a disproportionate spike in votes several days after the election. Plus, multiple studies have shown that mail voting doesn't provide an advantage to either party. It's a myth! The media will say that claims of fraud here are without evidence. Keep in mind, an anomalous statistical spike like this is evidence of fraud. As any forensic accountant, it may not be necessarily proof of fraud, but it is certainly evidence of fraud. But forget the late ballots. Just because the vote swing coincidentally matched the specific Lhasa count of homeless people on the streets, just because NGOs that Nithya cuts checks to were hoarding ballots, just because...
Yep, who she was cutting checks to. And then, like I said, I showed y'all a video of all the homeless people coming out saying, oh, they told us to vote for Karen Bass. And then if y'all notice, when Karen Bass had already advanced, then all of a sudden she stopped getting votes. And now they all just started going to Nithya because the whole thing was, let's just get Spencer Pratt out. So we knew for a fact something was going on. Because you don't see a lot of third place candidates just jump, and just come straight back. Especially, this woman was down by a lot. She was crying. Pretty much like I said earlier, conceding. And all of a sudden, 6 to 7 days afterwards, Spencer Pratt just started falling and falling. It's like, ain't no way this right here is happening.
Hundreds of thousands of dead people and ex-residents who've left California were still on the voter rolls doesn't mean anyone is taking those loose ballots and filling them out. First up, it's against the law. And we all know if it's against the law, it doesn't happen. Secondly, we have signature verification. Everyone has to sign their ballot, and a computer checks your signature. Well, except some voters can't sign, so they carved out a rule where you can just make a mark on the ballot, and a witness can sign on your behalf. It can be an X or a scribble or even a happy face, as long as a witness signs off on it. And don't forget, once they separate the ballot from the envelope, there's zero way to trace it back to the ballot to check if a sudden tranche of votes that swung predominantly to one candidate had come from a bunch of ballots with the happy faces in the signature box. The DSA instructs their ballot harvesters to go door to door and tell them to vote for Nithya Rahman and even help them fill in the bubble for their preferred socialist candidates. This is explicitly illegal. A ballot harvester can't tell you how to vote, and they certainly can't help you fill out the ballot.
They definitely can't. They definitely can't. Forms of cheating. This is what they were scared of from Spencer Pratt. If y'all notice, like I said, he's not giving up at all. And I'm hoping Nathan Raymond, one of them need to drop out. Well, we know Karen Bass ain't going to drop out, but there's no way. You can't convince me that all of these people, all these late mail ballots just went straight to Nithya Raymond. You can't convince me.
The laws don't matter if you have no mechanism in place to prevent the crime from occurring in the first place. There is this misnomer being parroted even by staunch critics of California's rigged voting system, saying there's nothing you can do because this is all legal in California. It's not legal. Even by California's own ridiculous laws, all this stuff is still illegal. They've simply removed all the mechanisms to catch the fraud and prevent it from happening. It's like a bank heist, but California has made a law that you can't lock the bank vault. You're not allowed to have security cameras, and you can't count the money inside the vault. Robbing the bank is still 100% illegal, but there's no way to stop it from happening. Now here's the smoky backroom dealing. 5 days before my election, Gavin Newsom signed a ridiculous law that literally banned federal and independent authorities from investigating vote fraud or overseeing elections to monitor for fraud during the counting process.
That's why I'm moving forward with new legislation that would make it a felony to seize ballots before the vote has been certified by state and county officials. We will be the wall it cannot get past.
That's like banning the bank from having security cameras. Now, the timing of this was deliberate. He knows this won't hold up in court, but he did it so close to the election day, he knew the courts wouldn't be able to overturn it in time for the election. It's truly like going up against the casino.
And you see that? It wasn't going to hold up in court, but he did it because by the time they get to it, the election will be already over with. That's what his whole goal is. And Spencer Pratt is smart. That's definitely the reason why Gavin Newsom did that.
Elections to monitor for fraud during the counting process.
That's why I'm moving forward with new legislation that would make it a felony to seize ballots before the vote has been certified by state and county officials. We will be the wall he cannot get past.
That's like banning the bank from having security cameras. Now, the timing of this was deliberate. He knows this won't hold up in court, but he did it so close to the election day, he knew the courts wouldn't be able to overturn it in time for the election. It's truly like going up against the casino. The deck is so stacked against you, you never really stand a chance. You can play if you choose, but the house will never lose. So now, in California, you can loot $950 of merchandise. You can knowingly infect someone with HIV, but if you try to prevent vote fraud,
you will be prosecuted.
How can you secure the money if you can't lock the vault? How can you catch the robbers if you're not allowed to monitor the vault? And how can you even identify if the vault were even robbed in the first place if you can't even count the money? This is what California has done with the elections. Unsolicited ballots going into open mailboxes and NGOs and parking lots. Bank vault is wide open. No signature required, no ID required, no way to ID the robbers. And the beauty of their rigged system is they can have all the pageantry of his public ballot counting center. Hey, come on down. It's open to the public. Anyone can come watch so you can see just how kosher our system is.
We are inside LA County's massive ballot processing center. An assistant United States attorney arrived on scene to observe the process and ask questions.
All the fraud that does occur happens long before the ballots even hit this building. People have been pushing me to demand a recount. Why? You could recount these anonymous ballots 100 times. You'll get the same exact result. I have no doubt that they are doing a flawless job of accurately counting every single ballot in here with robotic precision. The fraud isn't here. It's here on Skid Row, where homeless people are paid a couple of bucks for their ballots.
They gave you $2 to vote? Yeah, in the street. Did they come down here and try to pay you to vote?
Yes.
They told you who to vote for?
Since I'm voting your way, I gotta get
Y'all gotta realize Spencer Pratt put this out and it's sitting right way over 2 million views right now. Y'all remember these videos I showed y'all of a lot of these homeless people coming out saying, yes, they come down here 3 times a week. So they pay us like $3 to $5. Sometimes they just give us cigarettes. And you know, if they give us money, they'll tell us who they want us to vote for. And a lot of them was men that, yes, they told us to vote for Karen Bass. So we knew it was some stuff going on.
You know what I mean?
It's here where socialist street animals go door to door and violate the ballot harvesting laws. People bring up the old communist adage often attributed to Stalin saying, it's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the votes. No, this is the modern era of fraud. They've gotten wise. The modern communist agrees with the old communist, but just the first part. It doesn't matter who votes. It doesn't matter if it's a drug zombie being paid for their ballot. It doesn't matter if it's a DSA socialist street animal filling out your ballot. It doesn't matter if it's a blue-haired intern at a Nithya Raman-funded NGO filling out the ballots. The bank vault is wide open. The cameras have been removed, and there's no way to count the money. Now, for those of you who wanted me to fight the election, for those of you who thought I was quitting, or I was bought off to step aside and quietly disappear, I'll remind you, there's a smart way to handle these things and a dumb way. Evidence is not proof. I don't say things without proof. Now, anyone saying that there's no evidence of fraud is lying. There's tons of evidence, and I was the one who got it. All those videos that you saw of homeless people admitting that they were paid for their vote, where do you think they came from? Immediately after the big spike of votes came in for Nithya, I sent my team down to Skid Row to collect evidence. We were warned by some very well-connected people that this was happening, so we acted on it immediately. But if you want to end this fraud, doing protests and bitching about stolen elections won't get you anything. You need the fraudsters to start catching charges. For that to happen, you need proof. That's what investigators do. They turn evidence into proof with a robust investigation. You think it's a coincidence that 20 FBI agents suddenly descended on Skid Row to investigate vote fraud? Why do you think they were there? You don't get evidence by going to rallies or storming the ballot processing center. You get evidence by doing real work. And the first rule of criminal investigation is you do not talk about it. Here's the reality. It's too late for my campaign. A lot of people refuse to accept that, but I can. I told you all to get your ass out and vote. Tell your friends to vote. Vote enough to beat the cheat. We didn't beat it, but that doesn't mean I quit. I don't know how to quit.
He never knew when to quit.
That's right.
My goal isn't to try and salvage the campaign, just like my advocacy in the wake of the Palisades fire wasn't about my own home. It's too late for me. This is about you. This is about the next one. It's about exposing this corrupt rigged system and changing it for the next election. If I have to be the kamikaze pilot to finally get this fixed, so be it. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. The right way isn't easy, but it ends with commie animals and handcuffs. I will restore faith in our elections if it's the last thing I do. And to all you fraudsters out there, we've been watching you, and justice is coming.
Mr. Pratt is not playing around. Boy. He is not playing around. Man. Y'all let me know, what do y'all think about that, man? Let me know in the comment section, what do y'all think about Spencer Pratt? And he ain't playing, boy, with these ads, the way he be putting out. And he's saying, hey, he still got more evidence. So like I said, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And shout out to everybody who always, like I said earlier, be watching the entire videos. I appreciate all of you. Y'all definitely helped me out a lot. If you'd like to support the channel, please go right under this video. In the description, I have a Cash App and a PayPal. If you'd like to donate, send me anything, support the channel. I appreciate all of you. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I catch y'all in the next one.